All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be checking out the 4 new heroes that have been revealed so far from Rosetta. I would be very surprised if they printed more than 4, but I'm not aware. I don't know how many they're going to print. Maybe someone does know. Tell us down in the comment section below. But we're going to be checking out the 4 new adult versions of the new heroes coming out in Rosetta. Now, a little bit of background before we get started. I'm pretty excited about Rosetta. I was so excited about it, in fact, that I finally, said, you know what, I'm going to make my second channel because of Rosetta. Other things, too. Just a quick background on me along with this. Viscerai, I am a main, that's my main, is Viscerai. I was very upset when we lost Rosetta Thorn. That was just me personally. I know a lot of people were like that as well. And I'm not saying that the hero's unplayable or anything like that, but I was distraught when we lost Rosetta Thorn. Because I was actually going to, not much, but I was going to locals back then for Flesh and Blood. Then Briar LL'd and took her weapon with her. I was so frustrated about that. Anyway, it is what it is. Not trying to go off on that tangent today. For another video, for sure. But Runeblade is my thing in this game. So when I saw, okay, we got 2 new Runeblades popping up on here. Now, I will say this, full disclosure, full transparency. Every single card that I see pop up in this set that is going to be spoiled, I will be looking for the Viscerai tech. Okay, I'll be like, okay, how does this help Viscerai? Now, that's not to say that I won't play Florian, for example, or, Aurora. We'll talk about that in a second. But that is my main focus. I just think Viscerai is the coolest looking character and all that. It's just what drew me into the game was how cool the character looked. And Steve Argyle being the artist, right? Okay, what do you expect? No, I'm just kidding. Not that that's the only thing that matters, but, first impressions are everything. So that really sucked me in to Flesh and Blood finally. It made me, pull the trigger, so to speak, and, or to bite and, okay, I'm going in. I'm going to play this game. And, here we are. Now, real quick, I have been playing this game since right before Dusk Till Dawn. So about a year and 2 months, a year and 3 months or so. I don't know the exact number. We're getting close to a year and a half now. Now, I've been playing TCGs for the better part of a little over 15 years. I think I said closer to 20 years in my intro video, but I think a little over 15 years is more accurate. And I've been playing them on and off, throughout the years. I haven't just been hardcore, going at TCGs this whole time because just life gets in the way. You guys know how it goes. But I got back into TCGs about a year and a half ago, and the 2 games, well, there were 3 games. I'm gonna admit there were 3 games that got me back into TCGs. It was One Piece TCG, Flesh and Blood, and Lorcana. I do keep my eye on Grand Archive from the side. We'll see what happens there. I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen with that one. I think there's some potential there, but we'll see what happens. But Flesh and Blood was the one where I was like, I really like this. I like what's going on. I like the class system. Because, going back to Viscerai, one thing that I really loved about Viscerai was okay, this is like the strength intellect character, in a RPG. At least in my opinion. Some people might say agility intellect. That's fine, whatever. But I kind of relate him more to the strength intellect character. And that's what I play in every game. Okay? If I'm playing World of Warcraft, I'm the Paladin. I'm the strength, intellect, support character that has hybrid damage. I do physical damage and I do holy damage in that case. If I'm playing Path of Exile, which is a game I really enjoyed World of Warcraft and PoE. I still play PoE. World of Warcraft not so much, but PoE I do still play the new Settlers. Okay, let me not get. I'm going off on a tangent, guys. If you want to talk to me more about that in the comment section, do so. But in that game, I'm a Templar, okay? Because that is your strength int hybrid. I love that. That is my favorite aspect of any kind of RPG. Now, tying it all back to Flesh and Blood, Viscerai was that for me. Now, one day, if they ever print a Light Guardian, it's all over. Okay, that will probably be my go-to hero. Because I'm a Paladin at heart. I don't know, maybe it's my Christian roots. I have no idea how to explain it, guys. But that strength, intellect, holy fighter, fighting for the cause of justice, that whole idea, I love that. I absolutely love that. Protect the weak, protect the poor kind of thing. That whole idea, huge fan. Now, I know some people might be saying, oh, well, what about Bolton? It's not even close, I'm sorry. He's a light warrior, okay? It is close. I'm not going to lie, it's close. But if they ever come out with a light guardian, and it is like a paladin-style character that they portray, whew, man, I hopefully in the future, right? Hopefully in the future. Now, all that out of the way, I don't know where I was going with all that. Just give you a quick background about me so you kind of know where I come from. Runeblade is my thing. So when I saw that there's going to be an Elemental Runeblade set, with this guy Florian, with Aurora, and we got some other cards we're going to talk about as well. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, now we're talking. This is something I can get behind. This is something I'm very excited to mess with and to hopefully, and that will hopefully help out my Viscerai deck. I'm not going to lie. Yes, I don't mind playing Florian. but I really hope it's gonna buff my Viscera deck. We'll see what happens. Now, with all that in mind, let's go ahead and dive into this. You know, what was that? Only a 5-minute intro, but here we are, guys. Here we are. Now, real quick, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. I answer those as quick as I possibly can, guys. So, yeah, let's get into this. First up is Florian, Rotwood, Harbinger. This is an elemental Runeblade, like we were just talking about. He is a 4 intellect, 40 life leader with Essence of Earth. Check this out. His effect, or his ability. If there are 8 or more Earth cards in your banished zone, Florian gets, if you would create 1 or more Aura tokens, instead create that many +1 of each of those tokens. So this sounds like it is basically a Mordred Tide style effect. And hey guys, I'm just going to warn you right now, the 2 Runeblades we're probably going to spend the most time on, but I will have all the, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description of the video for you to hop around to wherever you want to, if you just want to hear what I have to say about a certain leader. And guys, like I said, I'm only a year and a half old in this game, basically, right? So if I mess something up, please help me out, okay? Please do help me out. I am not like one of those people that's like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to be in denial if you help me out with something. Now, real quick, let's go ahead and check out, like I said, this is basically your Mordred Tide style of effect for Runeblades. Mordred Tide, 0 cost, blocks for 3, red. It is a red, but still, until end of your turn, if you would create a Runechant token, instead create that many +1, and this has go again. So anyone who plays Viscera knows this is like your bread and butter. Like, okay, now it's time to pop off and put like, you know, I'm exaggerating, but put like 20 Runechants down on the board at one time, right? It's really probably going to be like, you know, probably 5 or 6. It depends. It depends. But Mordred Tide is absolutely incredible. And this leader we're looking at right here, in Florian, this is baked in. Now, one thing someone will have to tell me down in the comment section below, because I'm actually just not sure. I don't play much elemental stuff, but how easy is it to fill up your banished zone with these Earth cards? Is that going to be something new that we see within, you know, what's it called, Rosetta? Because here we go. If there are 4 or more Earth cards in your banished zone, and this has an effect called, I call it effect, maybe it's called ability technically. I'm sorry guys if I messed that up. Y'all help me out in the comment section below on what the correct term is. In One Piece, this would be called an effect. In Flesh and Blood, though, is it called an effect or an ability? I'm not sure. Decompose, though, is the keyword. When this attacks, you may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. And if you do, each hero puts a card from their hand on the bottom of their deck. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like Decompose is going to be a big way to fill up your banish zone with these Earth cards. At least that's what I'm getting from this. One thing that does... Okay, hang on. I did miss this top part. If there are 4 or more Earth cards... Oh, no, I didn't. If there are 4 or more Earth cards in your banish zone, this gets +4. Now, one thing I do want to... I believe this will work. When this attacks, you may banish 2 Earth cards from an action... Or, excuse me, and an... Hang on. When this attacks, you may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. So if that gets you to 4 or more in your banish zone, that should turn this effect on immediately straight to 8, I believe, right? Because it will still be on the stack, I believe, or on the... I think that's the way to say it. So this card could be absolutely insane. This could potentially be a 3 for 8 if your banish zone is set up properly. So that seems really good. And then we have this Channel the Millennium Tree. Is this also... I just want to see if it has anything to do with banish. At the beginning of your end phase, put a flow counter, destroy... No, it doesn't. And this one creates an embodiment of Earth. So that is one thing I'll have to look into, guys, because I don't play the elemental stuff. I only play Runeblade actions. So I'm not actually sure of how many ways there will be to fill up your banish zone with these Earth cards. And again, guys, if you know of any, please put in the comment section below so I can learn this game even faster, you know, especially these cards I don't really mess with. My go-to right now are Mechanologists and Runeblades. Okay, I do mess with the ninja stuff as well since I was playing Katsu when I first got in the game, and of course I know how good Zen is. But I guess my 3 main decks would be Katsu, Viscera, and Tekla Vossen. Of course, you got to keep it classy, right? Got to keep it classy. But you guys help me out. Is there an easy way to fill up your banish zone with cards like this so that we can turn on the leader's effect? Because that is going to be what determines for me how good this this hero is. Because if I can fill up... Here's my biggest concern. Playing Viscera is a very specific play style where you want to play out a non-attack action and then an attack action and have it be a Runeblade, so that way you start generating your rune chants. Well, my question is, how is this guy going to create rune chants? Now, hey, if he gets 8 or more Earth cards in his Banish Zone, then he'll start creating multiple rune chants at a time, which is extremely powerful and will scale very well into the late game. Absolutely incredible, right? Incredibly. However, with that in mind, you know, how are we going to generate rune chants? It's not baked into the leader, so it'll kind of depend what we have in our hand. It'll depend on what kind of card pool we have access to. I still have to look into this leader, but I think I'll say this. At first glance, this effect is incredible because I know how powerful it is to create rune chants at double the amount, like with Mordred Tide, like I was saying. And I do think this leader has, bear with me guys, leader and hero is like the same thing in One Piece. I do think this hero has extremely high potential for rune blades, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens there. Now, that's that leader. One more thing I want to mention too before we get into Aurora Shooting Star is one thing I noticed when I got into this game. I'm going to dedicate an entire video to this at some point. Let me go to cards real quick. Excuse me, actually, let me go to heroes. If you look at all the Living Legend heroes, notice one thing about them. Number one, most of them are elemental, but the second thing I want to point to is actually the more relevant part, is that they not only have a class, but they also have a talent. Like, for example, Elemental Guardian, as opposed to just Guardian in the case of Bravo Showstopper. Is that, yeah, Showstopper. Yeah, so this one is an Elemental Guardian. Briar is an Elemental Runeblade. And by the way, notice with Briar, the first time an attack action card you control deals damage to an opposing hero this turn, create an Embodiment of Earth token. The second time you play a non-attack action card each turn, create an Embodiment of Lightning token. We'll look at those in just a second, but I like how this leader, this hero can create tokens herself. One of my problems, and I have to see what all options are available with Florian, is we're not creating tokens with the leader, the hero himself. We're creating them. We have to be able to create them through other means, and then we can create double of them. So it's a different way to do it, I guess. But we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I got a little sidetracked. I do want to make a video on this at some point, talking about how hopefully we find a way to balance these heroes that have both a specialization, or a class and a talent. Like, for example, Elemental Guardian, Elemental Runeblade. Let's just keep going down the line here. Okay, Draconic Illusionist. Icelander is an Elemental Wizard. Where are we at? Lexi Livewire is an Elemental Ranger. And Oldhim, Elemental Guardian. A lot of elemental stuff going on here. And then, of course, Light Illusionist. So it's like we can really see what's extremely powerful in this game. Anything that is Illusionist has a lot of potential, and anything that is Elemental, those seem to have the most potential. And I do hope that LSS is, like, cognizant of that. Like, I hope they understand, like, that is a thing. I'm sure they have seen that. They picked up on that pattern. And I'm not trying to say these other heroes are bad. Please do not misunderstand what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is, we just experienced this with Katsu. Why would you play Katsu the Wanderer, who is simply a ninja hero, when you could play Zen, who is a mystic ninja hero? So not only, and I understand the answer to that is it depends on the hero, right? It depends on the card pool and things like that, and the hero's ability. But here's the thing. This has access to ninja cards and mystic cards, whereas Zen only has access to ninja cards. And on top of that, notice there's no downside to playing Zen over Katsu. They both have 40 life, and they both have 4 intellect. So there is no downside to playing one over the other. And I feel like we saw how powerful that was over the course of the history of the game so far, just by looking at what got Living Legend, right? I mean, here you go. You know, like I said, all the elementals we saw, and then a bunch of illusionist cards. There might be one other that I missed. I'm trying to see if I missed any. Let me go through it one more time. Let me see. So Bravo, Briar. Chain was a Shadow Runeblade. So Runeblade does seem to be very powerful, along with the fact that, you know, elemental is the keyword. This one has Shadow as the keyword. So we got Shadow Runeblade, Dromai, Icelander, Lexi, Oldhim, and Prism Sculptor. So there you go. So out of those 8, I think half of them were elemental, and then we had some illusionists in there, and then we had one Shadow Runeblade as well. So very cool stuff there. Anyway, I just that will be an entire separate video for me at some point, talking about how maybe there are some balance issues there. We'll have to see, and I don't mean it in a bad way. So please do not misunderstand what I'm saying. But there is something to be said there, and I have to tie that over to a game like One Piece. In One Piece, there are monocolored, like for example, what we would call Dash is just a mechanologist, or like Azalea is just a ranger. In the game of One Piece, you can choose just one color, or there are multicolored, in that game they're called leaders. There are multicolored leaders. Well, if you're going to pick a multicolored leader who can choose from 2 different card pools, like in the case of, Briar, who can choose from Elemental and Runeblade, well, the downside to Magic was they started with 1 less life. And in that game, there's only 5 life, so you really start with like 20% less life. You know what I mean? You go from 5 life to 4 life, which is devastating. And at the beginning, before there were a lot of cards in that game, it was actually very hard to balance, and multicolored leaders just weren't winning. It took about two or three sets for them to actually catch up, for there to be a justifiable cause to play a multicolored leader. So anyway, sorry we got off on a small tangent there. I did want to mention that real quick. Now, let's go. So we were talking a little bit about Briar and how she can create auras built in, whereas Florian, let me go back to the spoilers. Florian, I just need to see what kind of support he will have. That, number one, that will allow him to build up his trash with these earth cards, not trash, but his banish zone as quickly as possible to turn this effect on. And then what support will he also have that can actually generate tokens? Now, let me read this part down here for the embodiment of earth and lightning tokens. Embodiment of Earth is your non-attack action cards get +1 defense while defending, and then at the beginning of your action phase, destroy this. So this is like a almost like the equivalent of like a bark skin style of thing, where it's like it lets you turtle up and block out for even stronger. So the embodiment of Earth is very solid, and then the embodiment of Lightning is the more aggressive version, where it's like when you play an attack action card, destroy this, and the attack gets go again. So you can give cards go again that wouldn't normally have go again. And I'm trying to get this thing off the screen. There we go. And I believe that will apply to the card we were looking at earlier, this one right here. This card does not have go again. However, if you do have an embodiment of Earth, or excuse me, of Lightning, you'll be able to give it go again, right? Let me show. I don't think it got go again anywhere on the card. Yeah, I don't believe so. Someone help me out if I'm off on that. So that is one thing. I'll finish off on Dorian. I've been talking about, or Florian. I've been talking about this card for a little too long now. I do think this has a lot of potential, but I really need to see the support. I like the direction of it, as long as it has consistent ways to create rune chants, because that for me is more important. Is the dual hybrid damage system in the game. That's why I like Runeblades. And if he can do that consistently, then I will more than likely be giving him a try. I'll probably be giving him a try anyway, but you know what I mean. Okay, moving on to Aurora Shooting Star. So this hero is 40 life, 4 intellect. Once per turn instant, pay 2. So pay 2 resources. Create an embodiment of lightning token. Activate this only if you've played a lightning card this turn. So right away, I like this better, because remember, guys, my playstyle. Let's just go back real quick to the leaders, or to the heroes. Excuse me. I am a Viserai main. So for those who are not aware, the way Viserai works. Whoops. Okay, I clicked on it. I thought it would like show a bigger version of the card. I can make rune chants with my actual hero. Like I can make them myself with the hero, and I really, really like that. Now with Aurora, she can as well in a slightly, it's a very similar way to Viserai, where it's like, okay, you have to play one card and then you're gonna have to do something else to create the other, right? So you play out a lightning card, and it can be an attack or non-attack action, it looks like, right? Create an embodiment of lightning token. Activate this only if you played a lightning card this turn. So it doesn't care if it is a attack action or just a normal action card. As long as you play a lightning card for the turn, then you'll be able to pay 2 and create a embodiment of lightning token that can give your cards go again. Like this, I already like a little bit better personally than Florian, because I know I'm going to be able to create these embodiment of lightning tokens to get instant value. Now I'm going to have to see. I am not a wizard player. I'm not a lightning player or anything like that. So I think there was a card they showed. Yeah, lightning form here. Let me see, where's the red version? So this is a 1-cost deal 5, and then when this hits, creates an embodiment of lightning. But if you already have an embodiment of lightning down, you can give it go again, right? So it's like, you know, very, very solid. Now, again, I don't think you shouldn't be able to, someone help me out in the comment section below if I'm off on this, but when this hits, it does its thing, and if it doesn't have go again, that's it. You're not going to be able to use the lightning token, the embodiment of lightning token, to give it go again. When you play, yeah. So this says when you play one, you've already played it. So that's where this effect is going to be very strong, where it's like, okay, create an embodiment of lightning token, activate this only if you've played a lightning card this turn. So if I'm not mistaken, again, someone help me out in the comment section if I'm off on this. Someone help me out if I'm wrong. But if I play out, let's just say I have, I pitch a blue, so I have 3 resources, right? I am playing lightning form for 1. I still have 2 floating. And then I played in a lightning card. So now I can play out the lightning, the embodiment of lightning. Will it be able to do that on the... It might not be able to do that on the stack. I'm not sure. Never mind. Just disregard everything I'm talking about, guys. I'm still learning a lot about the game, especially some of these other like super technical interactions that I really like. So again, if you guys know what I'm talking about, what I'm trying to say, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but if you see where I'm going with that, please help me out in the comment section below. Because what I'm trying to say is, okay, so you're playing out a card, and then can you, on the stack, pay 2 to create an embodiment of lightning token that will check, since it's on the stack, that you're playing that card. You see what I'm saying? So that it'll get go again in the sense of a card like lightning form that does not normally have go again. And then when this hits, you'll have another embodiment of lightning token because you just used up the current one. When you play an attack action card, destroy this, and the attack gets go again. Maybe not. That might not work out with timing, but that'd be very interesting if you could. But anyway, back to this actual hero, you know, the hero herself. I actually think this is very interesting and very powerful and has a lot of potential because you can create ways to get go again on attacks that would not normally have go again. And when it comes to the actual embodiment of lightning, this doesn't care if it's a lightning card, right? This just says when you play an attack action card, destroy this and the attack gets go again. So I do, right off the bat, just without seeing all the cards available, I do like Aurora Shooting Star a little bit better than Florian. I also, this is a little bit of bias, I'm not going to lie, but it had nothing to do with me liking the effects or not. I do like lightning more than earth as an element, so that might, yeah, we'll have to see. Okay, so really cool stuff there from Aurora. Next up, let's check out Verdance, Thorn of the Rose. This is a 4 intellect, 40 life leader, elemental wizard type, okay? Essence of earth, and if there are 8 or more earth cards in your banish zone, so same idea as Florian, right? Yeah. Verdance gets whenever you gain 1 life during your turn, you may deal 1 arcane damage to any opposing target. Okay, so it's like a souped up rune chant. You could just hit any target with that. So I'm a huge fan of this one. I am not an elemental wizard player, but this is what I wish my, you know, man, that is, again, we're going to have to see how easy it is to fill up your banished zone with these earth cards. Okay, that is everything, right? That is the main thing that matters. But if you're going to be able to start gaining life and then popping characters along the way, or I call them characters, sorry guys, that's the One Piece player in me. If you're going to be able to start popping targets along the way with this, that could be pretty interesting, guys, especially when you start dealing with instant, if there's any instant ways to gain life in this game. I can't think of any of them off the top of my head because I just don't, you know, I don't play much gain life effects, right? But I'm trying to think, is Sigil of Solace? I'm sorry, guys. This is such a noob question here. Let me go back to Sigil. Okay, here it is. Yeah, Sigil Solace is an instant. Hang on. And it gains 3, right? So generic instant, gain 3. That could be interesting, guys. That could be very, very interesting. That's all I'm going to say. I really like the way that this leader is built, or this hero. I'm sorry, guys. Again, that leader, hero, same idea. This hero is incredibly, incredibly powerful, I think, personally. I'm looking forward to messing around with this one. This is more of the Runeblade stuff that I like. But I will say it is more about gaining life. So maybe this will be the first leader that is, or hero, excuse me, that is just extremely outlasty. So, for example, what I mean by that is not so much control. It might have some control elements built in as well, but it's like, I'm just going to outlast you. And I don't mean mill. Like, I know mill's a thing, and like Starvo in this game and stuff like that. But this is kind of taking that in a different direction, where it's like, I'm just going to gain enough life eventually where you just can't, you know, take me out in time, and I'm just going to ping you down the entire way. Now, I mean, I will say this, any arcane barrier stuff, like AB1 will probably play around this hero pretty well. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see how good the effects are that support her. But yeah, really cool stuff here, and I really love how that is. And I know this Heartbeat of Candlehold's like big on that. So, you know, if you have her effect turned on, her ability turned on, gain 1, deal 1, gain 1, deal 1, gain 1, deal 1. That's just massive, right? You're gaining this life. that ends up being like a 6 damage, like 6 value swing, right? You're gaining 3, they're losing 3. That's a 6-point swing. So that's very, very solid potentially. And this does have Go Again built in. And I know there are also cards like this. This is very interesting as well, where like, okay, for 1, I can gain a life at instant speed. So there you go. There is some instances. Maybe you can do some maybe you can pop certain cards like this, or with this against illusionist decks. Like maybe you're going to be able to pop some stuff. This just seems really good. You may play 1 or both halves of this card. Each costs 1. So that's interesting. I'm assuming you would not be able to play this at instant speed because it is just a wizard action, whereas this is an earth instant. Someone help me out in the comment section below if I'm off on that. We'll have to see. Okay, really good stuff there. All right, what else we got? So we got one more hero, guys. One more hero to go over, and it is Oscilio. Hang on a second. Is that the adult version? Yeah. So this is the adult version. Oscilio. I can't even talk. I can't even say the word. Oscilio Constella Intelligence. This is a 4 intellect, 36 life hero, elemental wizard with once per turn instant, discard an instant to draw a card. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. And the idea behind this, I would definitely think would be have a lot to do with this. This is technically an instant cast card, right? This is a card you can cast at instant speed or use at instant speed. So this would be, so once per turn instant, discard an instant, draw a card. And this card is in fact an instant. So if you needed to, you'd be able to pitch this to draw a card, not pitch rather, excuse me, but discard it to draw a card. So that automatically makes these, these cards much more interesting to me. Number 1, this null shock card is extremely interesting. This got my gears turning. So I do like to play control in most of the TCGs that I play. I'm that guy, I know. But this is a null shock here. It costs 1, light instant and wizard instant. So deal 1 to any target. Each does cost 1, so it would cost you 2 to do both, but still, check out this null card, guys. If target instant card has cost less than the total arcane damage you've dealt to opposing heroes this turn, negate it. So, it does not resolve, by the way. it specifies it does not resolve. So that could be very interesting. I'm a big fan of this one right here. I was also a big fan of the Comet Storm one. I need to go over each one of these more and more. Like, I actually like this Comet Storm. Unfortunately, like, I don't know. I would love some type of effect like this within Viscerai, but I guess not. I guess it's just, this is a wizard action lightning instant. So very, very interesting stuff there. Unfortunately, I can't play this in Viscerai. I know, wouldn't that be nice? But very cool stuff there. Okay, well, guys, that's really about it. The discard an instant, draw a card is just, there's not a whole lot to talk about there. It's just a generically powerful effect. It's just a very solid effect. And now I guess we might as well go over, this guy. I mean, I assume Volzar is Oscilio's weapon, right? This is the lightning rod. We'll at least go over this and talk about it. If you control an aura permanent with sigil in its name, this costs 1 less to activate. Once per turn instant, amp X, where X is the number of lightning cards you've played this turn. So pretty cool stuff there. You're going to be able to amp your cards up. X is the number of lightning cards you play this turn. So that could get pretty outrageous because it's going off cards you've played this turn. The next time you would deal arcane damage this turn, instead deal that much plus X. That can get out of control pretty quickly, right? And this is instant speed, so that's a big thing with wizards, right? Is operating at instant speed. Very cool stuff. And if you need to, if you drew like a dud in hand, like a card you don't really want for the current situation, you can literally just discard it and draw a new card once per turn. You can do that on your turn, your opponent's turn, and just keep back and forth, just cycling out your hand, which is just incredible. Out of all the leader effects we saw so far, or heroes, excuse me, out of all the hero effects we saw so far, I feel like this is the strongest one. That's just me personally. Cycling cards is absolutely wild, right? Now, it does discard them. So, again, I wonder if Lightning will need to do anything with the Banish Zone. Maybe that's going to be an Earth thing exclusively. But who cares, right? You're discarding an instant, you're drawing a card. Now, one thing I will say with that in mind, right away I'm thinking this is probably not going to be a fatigue deck. I think this is going to be a deck that focuses on just burning down your opponent. Just burn them as fast as possible, burn them with fire. I think that's going to be the way to go, especially when you have cards like Null and Shock. if you're going to be able to shock your opponent, and then, okay, now they've taken a certain amount of arcane damage, and you can just negate these instant cast effects they do. Sorry, a little bit of MTG lingo, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. This card seems extremely powerful. We'll have to see that. We'll have to see how things go. Well, guys, that's really it. Florian, I'm very interested to try out because he is an Earth Elemental Runeblade. Same thing with the Lightning Elemental Runeblade Aurora. Those are my two. I cannot wait to mess around with. Verdance is very interesting. All of these leaders, I'm not gonna lie, all these heroes are very, very interesting to me because like these are the kind of heroes that I can. You can really take advantage of like the dual damage system, right? Especially Verdance. She's like, I'm going to heal, you're going to lose life. Like, I'm going to gain life, you're going to lose life. That's just never a bad thing, right? If you're building your entire deck to just gain life all the time and you're going to, whittle your opponent down by popping them with that damage, it just seems good to me. It just seems like it's going to be really good. And one thing I do need to check on is whenever you gain life during this turn. So, for example, if I gain 3, I only gained life that once that turn, and it was just 4/3. So we'll only deal 1 arcane damage to any opposing target, which is not bad, by the way. And that's why this one card does say gain 1, gain 1, gain 1. Someone correct me if I'm off on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the idea. It's like in this deck, you'll probably want to run like 3 Remembrance. You know what I mean? So that way you can just keep recurring back the extremely powerful effects as the game goes on and just like high block value. We'll have to see, There's going to be multiple ways to build whatever hero. But I just feel like this hero here seems like fun. I'm not going to lie. This one seems like a lot of fun. Oscilio, I keep wanting to call him Osceola. I don't know what that even means. Like Osceola National Park or something. But no, Oscilio... I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. This just seems like a straight up good old fashioned I'm gonna burn you down deck, and I'm gonna almost like red blue is it control, like IZZET I think it is it control in red blue, or excuse me, in Magic the Gathering, where it's like I'm just gonna deal damage to you and negate your stuff at the same time. Hope you have fun along the way. But we'll have to see. Right, guys, that's it. This video lasted longer than I thought it would. Hope you guys enjoyed. If I messed up on anything, again, please be gentle. Just help me out in the comment section below. I'm still learning quite a few things about all the different classes. It's like if you ask me anything about Runeblades, I can tell you whatever you want to know. But the other stuff, I'm still learning. I'm still, trying to figure out. So yeah, definitely hit me up in the comment section below if I messed up on anything. Help me out. All right, hope y'all enjoyed, and please do not forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys. Peace.